2026 was enacted after the repeal of the Nigerian Pilgrims Commission Act Cap 321.
Yes, let me help you. On the issue of allowing states and...
We did not think that that was going to bring any major change to what has been happening, because all those consultations have been happening anyway.
You have no objection to the proposed amendment?
No technical objection, yes.
Okay.
Okay. So, however, we also made a note, just for clarity. There are terminologies that were used in the proposed bill, airline agencies. We needed to be guided properly what that airline agencies stood for. We were a bit confused. It was like we're talking of agencies representing airlines, or are we talking of the airlines themselves? We needed that clarity before I make further comments, sir.
I've seen it. It may be... I think we need to get some clarification, you're right.
Okay. Okay, so, but I'm not going to just continue talking with the assumption that you're referring to airlines.
Which is very good. In other words, this arrangement of 50-50, you're not happy with it, if I understand what you're saying.
Yes. Yes.
So, if you have any other information or any other thing you want to say, please send to us in the form of memoranda.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you.
Now, we have a few people that already in advance indicated interest to say one or two things. Then we'll open the floor to one or two people to make your observations. But please limit your intervention to the business at hand, those three items, those three proposed bill amendments. So I will start with Dr. Usman Bugaje.
I request the committee to de-escalate the tough protection. There is a lot of territorial, if you like, fight between the regulator and the operators. And I think this can be de-escalated if the committee tries to explain that both the regulator and the operator are supposed to be complementary. They are not in a competition. They are supposed to complement each other. And if they see that in terms of complementarity, a lot of the crises that we are, And I also think that either maybe in subsequent amendments, we need to put in the act consequences for failures. At the moment, there aren't. And this is why we keep repeating the same mistake and we keep failing again and again. So we need to consider in subsequent amendment how to check failures by putting consequences so that officers, that fail, after because every operation comes with a report. And that report is submitted to both the Committee of Foreign Affairs in the Parliament, in the National Assembly, and also the executive arm, the presidency. And therefore, this should, be something that we should be looking at. My position in respect of this, to be specific, is that the selection of the airlines for the purpose of Hajj operation should be left at NACON, because the states do not have the capacity to evaluate the airworthiness and the bilateral agreements. And there are a number of issues from my experience. When I was in the presidency for 4 years, I was also, before the act, I was, the desk officer. And we had a number of experiences. Time will not allow me to say so, but I'll just say one. We had approved an airline, and we submitted to, Saudi authorities. And based on the facts, we had everything was okay with that airline. But then they did their search, and they found that the aircraft that was going to operate was actually stolen from somewhere in Asia and brought in here to operate in Africa. And so these are some of the things that, because these are, you need the sovereignty of the country to negotiate these things. So I think the states should. But I think the word used here, involve, to me it appears imprecise and in law. You have to be very clear. My suggestion is that we should use the word consult. And consultation is part of an Islamic practice. وَأَمْرُهُمْ شُورَى بَيْنَهُمْ is very well known to Muslims. Therefore, I think the state should be consulted, but the responsibility should remain with NACON. I would like to stop.
Between involvement and consultation. So look at it. But overall, in the end, like I said, all we want to do, the whole objective is to make life easy for our pilgrims. And we have to do whatever necessary to make that happen. So next person is Professor Yusuf, Badmos Yusuf. In a bit. The proposed amended bill before us is referring to three items. But somehow I noticed most of the people that spoke were more interested on the airlines. And we're supposed to discuss the airline, we're supposed to discuss the Medina and Muna feeding and refund. I also want some clarification or for clarity. I don't think the intention of this bill is to allow every state to bring their own carrier. I don't think so. I think the intention of this bill is to allow states to participate, to work in conjunction with NACON. NACON has the sole responsibility of approving carriers after meeting the necessary requirements approved by NCAA, after having their certificates of airworthiness, after having their slots and what have you. So I think I don't think the states are saying allow us to select our airline. I don't think so. But I think the states are asking to be allowed to choose among the ones approved by NACON. What the states don't want is for NACON to say you must use this carrier. Am I correct? And if that is the case, as far as this is concerned, someone mentioned there must be some kind of synergy, some kind of collaboration, some kind of understanding between the states, pilgrims boards, and NACON. Because overall, both NACON and the State Pilgrims Board are working jointly to protect the interests and make life easy for pilgrims. And once we're able to agree on that our primary objective is to make life easy for our pilgrims, then I think we've done the most difficult bit of it. What is left as matured adults is for the NACON and the State Pilgrims Board to put the interest of their pilgrims above all. Having said this, we allow, like I said, on the feeding, unfortunately, I haven't had much about feeding. Everybody was talking about airline. Somehow people are more interested in airline operations than feeding. But we will take your submissions. We will sit down as a committee. We will review all submissions. For those that do not have the opportunity to speak, please, you can send us in written your submission, and I can assure you it will be read and it will be taken into consideration. So without waiting so much time, we'll just take one or two more interventions, then 1 minute. I can only allow this if you agree to 1 minute. 1-2 of the country and our pilgrims. So with this, I think any comments? So with this, distinguished, you can move for adjournment.
My chairman, distinguished colleague, invited guest, having come to this far, I hereby move that this meeting be adjourned, signed die.
Mr. Chairman, distinguished colleague, invited guests, I hereby second that this meeting is adjourned sine die.
So a motion has been in place and seconded. So this meeting is hereby adjourned.